The incredible life story of Lady Fatimah, may Allah be pleased with her, is one of the most inspiring tales in Islamic history. She was the most distinguished woman, unparalleled in excellence, and the one who resembled the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the most on earth. She was truly the epitome of the best woman in Islam, a noble character that Allah himself sheltered under his divine protection. Lady Fatima, the most beautiful human being on earth, was the fifth child of the Prophet Muhammad. When she was born, Lady Khadija, her mother, expressed her wish to name the child after her own mother, whose name was also Fatima bint Zaidah. When the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, held his newborn daughter in his arms, he looked at her lovingly and said, "This is my mother." Then he continued, "I want to name her after my mother." Lady Khadija was momentarily silent, unsure of what to say. The Prophet then clarified, saying, "If I said my mother, I mean my second mother, the mother of Ali," and he named her Fatima, which means the child weaned from milk. Lady Fatima was weaned from her mother's milk, but she grew up with the nourishment of the Quran in the blessed house of the Prophet, surrounded by the teachings of the Quran. Abdullah bin Masudi narrated that one day, the Prophet was praying near the Kaaba, and we were observing him. At that moment, Abu Jahl and his companions mocked and ridiculed the Prophet. Abu Jahl pointed to a slaughtered animal nearby and asked, "Who among you is willing to bring its intestines and throw them on Muhammad?" Aqaba bin Abi Mu'aydi volunteered, and together with two others, they brought the intestines and placed them on the Prophet's back. A 10-year-old Fatima heard the commotion and her voice pierced the air, calling out, "How dare you mock my father? Are you not afraid of Allah?" She rushed to her father, and with all her might, she threw the intestines to the ground. The Prophet finished his prayer and said, "O Lord, I leave the result of this action of the Quraysh to you." 3 times he repeated this prayer and named each of the offenders. "O Allah, destroy Umar ibn Hisham Abu Jahl, Utbah ibn Rabi'ah, Shayba ibn Rabi'ah, Walid ibn Utbah, Umayyah ibn Khalaf, Aqaba ibn Abi Mu'aydi, and Ammar ibn Walid." Ibn Masudi later testified that on the day of Badr, he saw them all lying dead, thrown into a pit. Lady Fatima, despite her fragile physique, possessed a strong spirit and intellect. She was modest and shy, enduring countless hardships from a young age. She lost her mother in her childhood and later, her sisters. Despite all the difficulties, Lady Fatima, like other girls of Quraysh, learned everything she needed to know. She became skilled at managing the household chores. Though she rarely spoke unless necessary, and never interfered in matters that didn't concern her, she absorbed the teachings of the Quran and the laws of Islam, which she had heard from her father. Lady Fatima was known for her eloquence and clarity when speaking, always capturing the attention of those around her. The virtues of Lady Fatima, may Allah be pleased with her, were greatly acknowledged by those who knew her. Zahir ibn Aqba, in his book, narrated from Ibn Abbas that the Prophet Muhammad loved Lady Fatima dearly. One day, Aisha asked the Prophet why he kissed Fatima so much. The Prophet replied, "The night I ascended to the heavens, Gabriel, took me to paradise and gave me some of its fruits. These fruits transformed within my body into a seed, and Khadija became pregnant with Fatima. Whenever I long for the taste of those fruits, I kiss Fatima, for her scent reminds me of the heavenly fruits I ate." Abu Bakr al-Khatib, in his book Tariq al-Baghdad, citing Ibn Abbas, mentioned that Lady Fatima was a pure soul who never experienced menstruation or postpartum bleeding. The name Fatima signifies that she was separated and protected from the fire of hell. Thus, Allah named her and her followers protected from hell. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said that the first person to enter paradise would be my daughter, Lady Fatima. The Prophet Muhammad compared Lady Fatima's status among Muslims to the position of Maryam, Mary, among the children of Israel. One day, the Prophet drew 4 lines on the ground with his stick and asked his companions if they understood the meaning of these lines. He explained, "These lines represent 4 chosen women: Asiya, the wife of Pharaoh; Maryam, the mother of Isa, Jesus; Khadija, and my daughter Fatima." When it comes to her marriage with Ali, Lady Fatima was 20 years old, and this was in the 2nd year of the Hijrah. Both Abu Bakr and Umar, along with Abdul Rahman ibn Awf, had shown interest in marrying her, but the Prophet had another plan. Then Ali came to propose to her. The Prophet asked Fatima if she was willing to marry Ali, and when she agreed, the marriage was blessed. To pay for the dowry, Ali sold his iron shield, which was later bought by Uthman and gifted back to Ali. Lady Fatima's dowry consisted of a few simple household items: a mattress, a pillow filled with palm fibers, a woven mat, 2 hand mills, a clay pitcher, a leather water container, a sieve, a headscarf, a goat skin to sleep on, and a Yemeni rug. Despite their modest means, the marriage was filled with love and devotion. As they didn't have enough to provide a feast for the guests, Saad ibn Ubadah took it upon himself to provide food for the guests. Lady Fatima spent 5 years in the house of Lady Khadija, 13 years in Mecca, 2 years in Medina with the Prophet, and 8 years with Ali. During those 8 years, 2 years were spent caring for Fatima bint Asad, Ali's mother. Ali and Fatima shared their home with Ali's mother, as Fatima had shown kindness and care for her, just as Lady Khadija had cared for the Prophet. The Prophet, peace be upon him, once visited the home of Ali and Fatima and found them in disagreement. When he heard of it, he visited them, seated them on either side of him, and clasped their hands together. Shortly afterward, the Prophet left, smiling. He said to his companions, "When I entered, I saw sadness, but as I left, I saw happiness." This shows the love and harmony between the two. Lady Fatima and Ali had 5 children: Hassan, Hussein, Muzan, Zainab, and Kulthum. The Prophet Muhammad said that his lineage would continue through his daughters, emphasizing the significance of the family. The Prophet once gathered Ali, Fatima, Hassan, and Hussein under one cloak, making a prayer for them. When the news of the Prophet's death spread, Lady Fatima rushed to her father's side, who lay with a bloodied and wounded face. She cleaned his face, and when the bleeding continued, she burned a reed and used the ashes to dress his wound. For a month, she tirelessly cared for him. Her sadness and anger were evident, especially toward Ali, whom she blamed for not protecting her father. But the Prophet, noticing her discomfort, comforted Ali, saying, "Ali, did you see how Abdullah ibn Yash, Abu Dujana, and Harith ibn Sinan fought valiantly? It's the same with Fatima." One day, as Fatima brought a piece of bread to her father, the Prophet said, "Fatima, this is the only bite I will eat after 3 days of fasting." This shows the immense hardships they endured together.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.